Hey everybody, I think we are live. I'm opening my bubbly. Not that kind of bubbly, this kind of bubbly. I gotta try it. Anyway, hi everybody. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And I'm being just goofy with my drink today. My name is Megan. I'm an architectural designer based out of Arkansas. If you are joining us again, you've been following along for these lives, welcome back. And this week has actually been really exciting because Sunday. Hey, sorry, no hard bubbling because we would get halfway through this and I would be like, what? What did I do? And I do that anyway. We know this. I repeat myself and I lose my train of thought because it's the end of the day and I'm like, what's Revit? What's a line? What's a wall? So yeah, I don't think you guys want me to actually drink during lives, but this is raspberry. That's pretty good. I like it. Okay, that fizzle perked me up a little bit. So anyway, so this was a super exciting week because I have been doing these lives, kind of been working on some other things, and then I have been filming for multiple other actual real videos. And the first one aired on Sunday, and it's like underwhelming for everyone else as far as for big YouTube, but for me it was really exciting because we've been working on this for a long time. We have several other videos in the works, and it was one of those things where when I tell people about the projects that I'm working on, they get really excited about it. People love to see remodels and just things, and it's all about the people. It's the people and the problems that they have and the solutions that we can find and to change their living space. So I'm really excited to start sharing the first one with you. And then yesterday I started filming for a second one. So we're going to have two projects going on at the same time that I'm going to be filming and sharing with you guys. So super exciting. But for today, we're picking up where we left off with our house. So we're just going to jump right into that. I'm going to get my screen sharing. I hope you're doing well, Brandon, because I feel like I haven't talked to you in several days. I hope everything's going well. Okay, we'll see if Revit pops up there. We've got our house here that we're working on. Yeah, okay, looks like you guys can see. So, what we're going to work on today, we're going to jump around just a little bit because, this wouldn't be my channel if we didn't jump around in a hippity hop manner. That's kind of how I work. It's like, yeah, there should be a linear process, but there's not. It's just a blob. Okay, we had this issue, and and last week I was going to go live. It was scheduled, and I had like this freak storm pop up, and it was like 8 minutes till time to go, and all of a sudden there was a huge lightning strike, and I checked the radar, and basically there was this itty bitty cell that was right over my house and my neighborhood and nowhere else, and it hung around for like an hour. So I did not get to go live. So we're just skipping ahead. But I think so 2 weeks before then, where we left off was I wanted us to start laying out some construction documents, and we ran into a problem with the title block. So we've still got some design work we need to do, but I want us to go look at this. I'm going to look at this title block. So we're going to go over here in a project browser. It's just whatever the default was. We've already got it loaded, or I think this might have come with it. So I didn't see where there were any other options for this. So we click on this. It doesn't give us any other options. I don't think we can just, yeah, I mean, we can't just change it like that. So we're going to have to actually go edit this. So this is a good thing to have to learn. It stinks, but it's good to have to learn. So it's a family. Title blocks are families. So we're just going to click edit family on this. And So it basically looks almost the same here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to measure this because I'm going to show you something. So if we measure from here to here, that is 3 feet and 6 inches. So 3, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 3, 9, 40, 41, 42. So this is 42 by 30 inches. And I don't use this big of paper. If you are in a commercial firm, you probably use this big of paper. For residential work, I actually can't print that big because I use a 24-inch plotter, which is at a way more affordable price point for a residential firm. So I can only go 24 inches wide. This paper is too big. I do 24 by 36 inch, which is architectural D size. I also use B size and C size, but I can't go this big. I don't really need to go this big. So what we're going to do is we're going to shrink this thing down. And the way that they've got this, they've actually got these going all the way out to the edge. So what we're going to do is just kind of, we're just going to make it work. So keyboard shortcuts are a little bit different in families because, like, I want to do DL and I do this all the time and it won't work. So you have to actually click line. I think if you do LI, yeah, it's so that's just a model line kind of. All right, so we're going to come over here and we're going to go over 36 inches and then I think we'll come up from this one and we're going to go 24 inches. So basically, we're going to drag these, we're selecting, and we're going to drag these in, and we want the outside to be. So, all right, so now we got some stuff hanging off of here, but now this paper from here to here, that's 3 feet, and this is 2 feet, and that's what we want. So this is going to the outside of the paper. I like my stuff to go pretty close to the edge of the paper. I'm going to go ahead and leave that like that right now. And I'm going to make all of these be just a 1/2 inch. Actually, this one's not going to be 1/2 inch. This one's going to be 1.5 inches because I'm going to make all the rest of these 1/2 inch, just that one over there. Okay. This one I'm doing 1.5 inches because I have a little binding strip that I put on there that pretty much everybody is going to bind with something that's about 1 inch wide. So we have to leave space for that. Now we can take these off of here. Those were just for measuring. So here's where I'm not going to get just super, super technical with this. We're going to strip this down because we don't need all this stuff. My residential title blocks are a lot more simplified than what you would find for commercial stuff. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. I just deleted it. And honestly, I don't need any of these. So those are going bye-bye. I don't need to link to that. And sorry, Autodesk, we love you, but that's going bye-bye. And actually, we're just going to take these lines off of here too. We'll move this one down. So that just simplified that a little bit. We need to connect these lines. So we're going to trim this one and this one. And then I do not want to waste this much space. That is 6 inches. That is way too much. So I don't drink fizzy drinks all that much. That kind of wakes me up. I drink a lot of water and tea with lemon. Kidney stones. So this is 6 inches, which that might be appropriate if you have bigger paper and you need to be like listing revisions and things like that on there. For residential, I don't need that much space. There's not a whole lot of information that goes on there. And it's also, the paper is just smaller. So proportionally, that's taking up too much space. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to select all of that. I think I caught all of it except those left lines. we're just going to scoot all this over. So if I go, that's 7/8 of an inch. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to put it right there and don't click off of it. And then I'm going to move it back over. That's what I'll do a lot if I don't feel like doing math. Sometimes you get lazy, y'all. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna say I don't really even want that to be 4 inches. That's just too much. So let's make this 3.5 inches, and I'm trying to just kind of. This is gonna be so narrow. Oh, it's so scary. See, their stuff's just really big. Okay, let's go with 4 inches, just because that was like very small in there. Okay, so we're gonna move this one over and make it be 1/4 of an inch. So basically what we're doing is just tidying up these lines, and I'm laying this out kind of similarly to how mine is 8 inches. We totally don't need that. Let's try, whoops, I don't know what happened. Let's try 4 inches here. Yeah, we'll go 4.5. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm just making these little boxes a little bit neater. Honestly, you can put these, I'm just going to align that one over there. You can put these really wherever you want, however you want. Some people have a really slim title block. Some people might want it at the bottom. On my B size 11x17 title blocks, I have a smaller title block across the bottom, and then I'm actually working on doing a letter size one as well. So that's got to be unheard of. I'm gonna rotate this. We're gonna rotate this 90 degrees. We're gonna stick it over here. Same thing over here. We're gonna stick this over here. The name of the game right here is speed. We're not gonna be fancy. So LI, not DL. And this, I don't think these will, yeah, that will not align. So what I usually do with these is just kind of nudge them if you're moving this. And this is something that, you know, if you're new to doing all of this, or even if you're just playing around, or a student or whatever, this is something that you can actually just get pretty creative with. Because this is something that, like on mine, I have my logo up here and a bunch of information. And what we're doing right here, I wish that we could align those, and it just doesn't do. Okay, that'll work. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna delete that because I don't use that. I feel like I could have just I was a little redundant. We'll just do it over, because sometimes you screw up and need to do it over. Oh, it did align. Yay! Okay. Like I said, residential. I put a lot of information on there because I like detail, but I don't put unnecessary information on there. Delete that. And this is all going to get a little hairy down here. So I don't know why. These are all probably a little too big. This is way too big. This, I don't feel like we need that. That is, I think that's like the timestamp one. So this is a lot of just moving stuff around. And actually, let's go ahead and save this because this looks pretty clean right now. So I'm going to, I don't know where I'm gonna be putting this. I'm just gonna, you can save this wherever you want to save it, call it whatever you want to call it. Fine with me. So we're just going to scoot this stuff down here around a little bit more. And I'm going to kind of come in like this. Going to just move that there and then move it back up 1/4 inch. And I think we can probably leave the rest of that. I mean, mine looks a little bit different. Probably everybody's looks a little bit different, but that is a simple title block. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put a couple more things on here. So text, I'm going to put this right here, and this will be, I'm just going to say House of Wolf and Lamb live tutorial. And then I'm gonna rotate that around. I'm gonna stick it in here and I'm gonna center it. And then you can change the font in that if you want. I'm just gonna leave it. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So you can put whatever you want, wherever you want. I think I'm gonna leave that like that. That's all pretty good. But what, you know, we've been talking a lot about parametrics and where things are tied together. This just says client name. This says sheet name. Those have they have some information that is parametrically tied to them, same as all of these things. So these right here, that's just a label that says project number, but this has something that it's connected to, and you can look at this label, and that is where that's going to show what that's connected to. So same, so all of those, this, the date, these are, I'm going to show you where those. So now you can, if you want to do a text like this right here, I just put text in there. I just typed it. But if I wanted to connect it to something, I would have to, I lied. That would be a label. Okay. So you can create text. This, we just created a text. I typed it in there. That's what it is. If you want something to be connected to something, then it needs to be a label. Okay, and that's about all we really need to know about title blocks right now. There's a lot of creative license that you can take with this. This is super, super basic. So I'm going to load it back into a project. I'm going to save it because I tweaked it a little bit since I saved. Can't create it there. But if I go back here, notice this still looks the same as it did before. What happened? Well, if we click on that, now we have, oh, I see. We have to rename the family. So I did not do that. And actually, I'm going to go do that because this is, it's poor practice to not do this. That is not what I wanted to open. I'm going to close that. Nope, I don't want to save that. What I want to do is say, I want to go back to this one that we just had. Now, going up here into family types, this has one type in here right now, and we want to edit that. I'm just going to call it 24 by 36 title block. Because that was a little bit confusing before. So now I'm closing it in there, or I'm loading it in, I'm closing it, I'm saving it. We'll get there. Now we go down here to the sheet. It's still the old one, but we have a different option down here. Still got that. I hate when it does that. Okay. So we can do that, and we can actually, we can get rid of, well, no, maybe we can't. I am not going to worry about it right now. We're using the 24 by 36, and we can zoom in. So now we have the proper size sheet in there, and we're going to do a few things to it. So we're going to change the name for once. You can right click or you can slow click, and I'm just going to call this 001. And I'm going to make a few sheets that I know we're going to use for this. So first of all, we're going to have presentation. Now, if you work in a commercial firm, you probably just did like a horrified gasp at why I don't have a letter in front of the name. Okay, so here's the thing. If I do basic prints, if they're super basic and super small, there might be 4 sheets. If I'm doing more detailed plans, we might have 12 sheets. I have a super, super detailed project going on right now that we may end up with more like 15 sheets. So to me, usually you would have your names for your your sheet numbers would be broken down by like A, your architectural, E, electrical, all broken down kind of by systems. I don't do that because there's no point. If I have 12 sheets, I'm just calling them 1 through 12. So that's really simple. So I always have a presentation, and now we're going to add some more sheets because we need more than one. So we're going to put a few in here. And again, these are in my template. I already start off with pretty much what I need. So if you have a template in your firm or whatever, you might not need to do this very much. But if you're starting from scratch and you're developing your template, you need to know how to do this. Obviously, we're starting with just nothing. So we're going to right click on sheets. We're going to do new sheet. And this is where it's going to ask us which one we want. And it's already got our new one that we just edited. That's selected. So we're going to do that. So now we've got another one. And we have to do this for each one. So I'm going to make... let's just do 4. That'll probably be good for us for now. And they already just followed my numbering system, but I'm going to go ahead and change the names. So this one is going to be the first floor plan. The 5th floor plan. Okay, and then we're going to make this one the front and rear elevations. And then we're going to make this one side elevations. That's a pretty good start for most general, simple projects. That's a good jumping off point. So if you're just developing a template, I would start with that. Now I'm going to hit save because I feel like I haven't hit save in a while. I feel like we've done a lot. So now here's the other thing. We're going to do this and then we're going to kind of move on to some other stuff. So notice I changed the name over here and it changed the name over here. So it knows what sheet it's connected to that. And that one's, sometimes you got to mess with the, sometimes I'll name these like elevations 1, elevations 2. And actually we can do that just for that spacing. And I do my ones like Roman numerals just because I think they look neater and cleaner. Whoops. We'll get there. Okay. We got that. So what about all this other information? That's where that connects to, but what about owner? How do we get to that? Project number, all of this stuff. We're going to go up to the Manage tab, and then you're going to see right here, project information. You click on that, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff in here that you can put in here. Author, I'm going, whoops. How many other people do that? Like doing this like back and forth between caps and not caps. I'm just gonna put M Musgrove. That's my name. The issue date. I don't know when we start these. I think it was sometime in early May. I'm gonna put May 5th. I saw that on something today. I'm gonna put May 5th, 2021. Project status. This isn't going to show up anywhere. I like to put it in there just because I'm filling in all the places, all the spaces. Pre-construction, client name, owner. This is what's going to connect to that. So I'm just going to make up a name, YouTube subscribers. Really, I can't spell and talk at the same time. Project address, your computer, and actually that doesn't type right in there. You have to click on the ... box because it gives you your computer. No, normally that would be an actual address, obviously. Okay, so the project name, YouTube live, project 1. And the project number, I'm just going to name this 0001. So when I hit on this, that is going to update all that information. And now I missed something, and I don't ever use this checker, so I probably will take that out, but I'm not going to mess with it now. I'm going to go back in here though. Oh, it did not update that. So we need to figure out what's wrong with that. So I put author in here, and this says it connects to author, but there's probably something messed up with that label. So I actually, I'm gonna go edit the family. I'm gonna go see if I can figure this out. Because here it says drawn, and this, we're gonna check this label. And this is why it says author, because that's, I don't know, I do not know why it's doing that. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna change it. We got rid of that, and we're gonna change it to author. Now we're gonna load back in there, and we're going to change that. There we go. I don't even know where that is. Now you can actually click on this and edit it here too. I like for things to be tied together, because if I edit something right here, I'm going to have to go change it on all the sheets. Whereas if I put it in project information, it's automatically going to populate. So efficiency. Just going to leave that like that. That's pretty good. And you'll see that it changed that information on all of those sheets. And you know what this says right here, because this says start date, and that's where that did that. I don't put the start date on there. I put the completion date on mine. So I usually just have like a X thing in there. And then when I actually complete it, the very, very final day when I'm printing final sets and we're done, that's the date that I put in there. So, but this works great for our purposes. And then I usually have like some notes in here. I'll put like square footages, areas, things like that. But that lets us start laying some things out. So we did pretty good on that being fast. I'm gonna hit save, and then we're gonna forget all of the construction document stuff. I just wanted to do that because that's where we left off, and I said I wanted to do that, and so we need to do that. Now I'm gonna close these out because we don't need these for right now. But I'm gonna go look here. So just to recap, our windows are looking pretty good. Our doors are looking pretty good. They actually all match. Everything has some trim. It's not fancy, but it has some trim. We've got a bathroom in there. which, considering I'm not putting any interior elevations on there, this works. And we can see that, you know, there's some stuff in there. We've got some shelving going on our closets, and then we've got some very basic in place just blobs for this. Now, if you are in Revit LT and you can't do in place modeling like this, you can easily go to the family creator and make some of these. You can make an L-shaped block, or you can make just a rectangular block. Honestly, having an L-shaped and a rectangular probably be about all that you need, and you can set those constraints to whatever you want them to be, because when you put them in here, you're going to be able to drag them and manipulate them pretty much however you need to. So just draw something to get yourself started if you need to. But right here, I intended this to be our laundry room, and we have nothing in there right now. So we're going to mess around with that. I actually kind of thought about putting a pantry in here, which we might come back later and do that, but for now I'm going to keep it simple. I want the walls to be really, really simple. So we've got to get some laundry stuff going on in here. So let's go to our first floor plan. You can do this from any view. Since I know that this has like nothing loaded into it already, we're gonna go look for some laundry equipment and hope that they have something that's not terrible. Washer. Oh yeah. Okay, these are pretty good. So I like to kind of look at what would fit. Honestly, somebody who's building this house is probably going to put this pretty basic thing in here. I love that they have a washer dryer combo. They have a front load, which I'm sure, you know, you could stack this. These are kind of the more old school ones. I'm going to go ahead and go with this front load. I might actually start using these. I have one that I tweaked a long time ago that is actually, it's just a basic like front load. I don't like to have families in that are super, super detailed, because then when we look at things, they look great in renderings, but if we look at just our 3D perspective views, I don't want those things to grab your attention. It's kind of a trade-off, because I want us to see the architecture. That's what we're looking at. And so I don't like to clutter it with too much detail, but then at the same time, if you're actually doing renderings, then having those things that look realistic really add something to it. So, you know, kind of pick your poison there if you want super basic or if you don't. We're going to go ahead and use this. And again, I'm not doing any interior elevations, so this is not going to be, we don't need this detail, but I like to put things in because we need to lay out this space. So, I mean, honestly, you could just drop some lines on here if you want, but this is just as easy. So we're going to load that. Let it load. Oh, I'm sitting here waiting for something to happen. It's already happened. I gotta put some lipstick on, y'all. My lips get chappy. Here's the problem with lives. I can't edit this out. That is the, that's the beauty. Now I got a hair in my lips. I'm so classy, y'all. That's the beauty and the curse of doing lives. You don't have to edit, but you can't edit. So if I just pick my nose here on air, then sorry, I won't do that. Okay. We got going to a component. It's already right there. And depending on which way you want, I mean, I'll go ahead and put that right there. Now we need to load a dryer too. Honestly, washer and dryer, my simple one that I have, I just use the same thing for a washer and dryer because they're front load, they look the same. But since that is labeled washer, we'll go ahead and load a dryer. So we're going to insert, we're going to go to the Autodesk family. We need to do dryer. Quite honestly, if I were building this house, I would put a combo unit in it, but we're going to pick this one. I have on my wish list to get a combo unit, but I want 2. Because I've always dreamed of having 2 washers and 2 dryers, and I thought when my kids got older that I wouldn't need that anymore, and that didn't happen. I still want that. Okay, I'm butting these up in the corner, even though I'm not going to have them butted up in the corner in real life. What I'm probably gonna do, honestly, you need about 4 feet 8 inches. I usually just ballpark it at 5 feet, but it's actually a little bit less than 5 feet that you actually need for a washer and dryer. This is, yeah, we've got over 5'7" right here, so it's actually kind of an awkward, oh, I know what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. We're actually going to just make this wall, because we don't need all this space here. And this actually could be used as pantry too. We're just going to make this wall smaller. This doesn't have a dimension to it. And sometimes you catch stupid things that you did and then you fix them. Okay. That's 6 feet. And we don't really need that. All this over here is fine. Totally fine. That's right. I said I wanted that space over there. Okay. So let's do 5 feet. That's way too tight. Let's do a little bit, give this a little bit of breathing room. I usually will have a washer and dryer built into a cabinet, but right here, I think we would still be able to get these in, but this, we're going to scoot this over. That's 3.5 inches. So I'm going to do 1.75. So I've got a little bit of breathing room here, and actually I'm going to come out 1/4 of an inch each way, so they've got a little space in them. So pretty much, if I were doing this, I would not put them right up against the wall. I do that so that I can move them around. I'll move them out a couple of inches. And this is actually quite a good location. We can put our, let me think about this. I think we might want this door to go the other way, because this is something we have not. We're going to dimension where this pocket door is going to go to, because we just kind of stuck it in there from before. So I like this distance as far as this coming out right here. That's pretty good. What I would do in this situation is put I think I interrupted myself earlier. Usually when I'm doing a washer and dryer, it's in a cabinet. It's not just sticking out in a room. But I also try and think of who's going to be building this house, because you're designing for a person, you know. So what I would do in this house is, if I didn't just stick these in here, I would actually probably just mount a nice shelf on top of these if they're both front load. And then a lot of people will fold their laundry. It's too high for me, because I'm a little bit short, but I like to have either a table or just fold laundry on the bed. And from a design aspect, I ask people all the time, where do you fold your laundry? Like, do you fold it on the bed, or do you want to fold it in your laundry room? Some people already do that, and some people are like, no, I fold it on my bed, but I don't want to. Some people want their laundry to be completely contained in their laundry room. When my kids were younger, that's what I wanted to do. When we first built this house, I folded all the laundry in the laundry room, and everybody came and got their stuff. And then as my kids got older and they did their own laundry, they would, you know, do their own laundry, get in a basket, take it to their room, and then they would fold it and put it away or hang it up or whatever. So kind of depends on what point in life you are and how you prefer. But I do have a lot of clients that they just want a cabinet, a shelf, or something on top of their washer and dryer, because that's where they like to fold. So that's something to think about. And I actually think we need a window in here. So let's put a window right here. And this is going to be, these are probably like 38 inches tall, or somewhere around in there. Yep, pretty, yeah, a little bit taller than that. So basically we want, let's look at our 3D view. See, and you can stay focused, but what the actual, oh, okay, gotcha. All right, I will usually try and find a window that's similar to what I want. And the closest, that was just weird. I'm matching, MA, shortcut. That, it's just grabbing all sorts of weird things. Make sure I'm grabbing this window. So that's way too low. We are using 6/8 for our consistent head height here. So we're going to do the same thing with that. So this puts up here, but this puts our sill at 3.2. Honestly, I'm okay with that. It would be, maybe we want to make it a little bit shorter, but for consistency, because this is a small, really just simple, basic home, I like consistency. You know, if you're doing a big home, depending on the style, usually you're going to want to break the massing up into different sections, and you want to bring in some different window sizes and shapes just for breaking up an interest, unless you're doing something where it's supposed to be flat and consistent. For smaller homes, I usually want, you know, it's kind of a proportional thing. The bigger the home, the more different types of windows I'm going to be using, sizes and shapes and things like that. And then the smaller the home, the fewer I'm going to be doing. So I like, for this home, it can have a lot of windows in it, but right now we have 2 different sizes of windows, and that's it. And that's really all we need. And I think, yeah, this one's backwards. How can I tell? Because the bottom sash is to the outside. So I'm going to click on it, hit the space bar, which is going to flip it around. The top sash should be on the outside. So, we've just got, these are double hung. In real life, I would probably make these casements, but I'm fine with them being double hung for our purposes. So what we're going to do, now we've added a window, so we need to dimension it. So here's our string of dimensions for windows and doors. I'm going to edit the witness lines, and we're going to come in here. And I would have made that wider, done something differently, but honestly, this puts a window in there, so it's not totally dark, and that's fine. Now, this might open a can of worms depending on where in the world you are. I saw some people kind of duking this out in an Instagram thread a week or so ago about plumbing being on an exterior wall. So, oh, I missed which trick, huh? So, if I totally do, I don't know what trick you're talking about. With the windows or the matching? I don't know. So with plumbing, okay, I will typically put washers and dryers on an exterior wall because I want my vent for my dryer to vent to the outside with the shortest possible run. Now, if you're doing a ventless heat pump dryer, this is not an issue. You don't have any penetration, or you know, that venting is just a non-issue. Oh yeah, the spacebar window flip. Yes, that, I mean, that's, I don't know if we had done that before, but it's, yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Do it all the time. So, so I want the dryer to vent out. Now, if you're in Europe or some other part of the world where those are common, I'm in the US and they're not common at all. I think they're trying to gain traction, but our washers and dryers are a lot larger over here. And it's only recently that there's been anything that came out with an option that had the same capacity that a typical American dryer would have. And I don't want to call out the brand because I'm about to say something mean. I wanted one because I'm always looking at ways that I can reduce my energy consumption, and I already have you know, pretty good insulation in my home. I have plans to upgrade something, but it's kind of a big deal, so it's not like oh, I can snap my fingers and make that happen. I have geothermal heat pumps zoned per floor, and I have all the lights that I use all the time are LEDs, and I slowly work my way through my house to replace everything with LEDs. So one of my big areas that I can realistically save money is with drying. I mean, I have a big family and we do a lot of laundry. So that's something I looked into. I found a large dryer that was a heat pump, ventless dryer that I really liked. To have great reviews. Not telling you what it is, but the matching washer that went with it was like terrible reviews. And I didn't understand. It was only the one that matched it. So I was like, whatever. That's not going to happen. So now I went to the whole, I want a washer dryer combo unit. And I've got one picked out that I want. And sadly, I actually had our ancient, decrepit washing machine died a few weeks ago. We knew it was coming. And I wanted to replace it. I had been hoping it would hold out a little bit longer because I wanted to replace it with a combo unit. But I didn't want to spend that money right then. When I get that, I'm going to buy both. And the other thing was I couldn't get it at the appliance store that I normally would buy things from. They didn't have any. And there's just this whole supply chain issue right now. And the manufacturer that I wanted to order it from, it wouldn't ship to where I am. So that wasn't even really a possibility. So went to Lowe's, bought a washer, and it's fine. And I will get that later. But so just a little bit of an explanation. If you're in different regions of the world, washers and dryers are different. So what I do here might be a little bit different than what's typical for where you are. So adjust as per your standards. Now, with the plumbing thing, so this is going to be a vented dryer. I want that vent to be as short as possible. No, I don't like plumbing being on an exterior wall. Where I live, plumbing on an exterior wall is typically okay. Now, the discussion that I saw with this a few weeks ago was discussing, it was somebody who was putting something in Texas, and there were a bunch of people that jumped in the comments like, oh my gosh, you can't put plumbing on an exterior wall. I was like, okay, whoa, we're in Texas, this is typically okay. Where I am, I do have some clients that are like adamantly opposed and they absolutely will not do it. And I get it. And if I have a client that they said, I don't want any plumbing on an exterior wall, then I won't do it. If they don't specify that, I will typically try to not do it. But if it happens, because that's just absolutely the best layout, we'll do it. As long as that wall is well insulated. I wouldn't do it if it's not insulated. This year, climate change and our weather patterns are just getting crazier and crazier. We had some really, really hard freeze. I mean, we had one morning the power was out because of rolling outages, and I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning when the power clunked off, and it was like it was -5. So these are things that 10 years ago we wouldn't have worried about. Now a little more concerned about it. So there's this trade-off here. Okay, I don't want the washer plumbing on an exterior wall, but I want the dryer venting on an exterior wall, so you're going to have to make a decision. This is what we're doing for here. Sorry for I could have just plunked in the washer and dryer, but I wanted to explain because when I plunk in the washer and dryer, there's more thought that goes into it. So this is going to be fine for us. We've got a window in here, and I actually kind of like this spacing here. But this is something else that I think about. So if this is a pocket door, we're going to walk in from here, and we're going to open it from here. Now, a lot of people probably leave this open all the time, but we can't put any light switches over here. So we're going to have to put them over here, which I'm okay with. So I think we'll just leave that. This is far enough back, but it's not like totally in a hole. So we can leave that. Now, what we're going to do here, yes, we definitely want to save. But we're going to look at this over here. So yeah, this should be absolutely perfect. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to model in place. If you are using LT and you can't do that, then you use a blob. Make yourself a block. Do whatever you got to do. Yeah, I think I would put a little shelf in there just to make it look nicer. But what we're going to do, I'm just going to get where I can see in here a little bit better. And I'm going to model in place. It's going to be casework. I'm not naming it anything fancy because I don't have that many. Extrusion. It already has our work plane set to the first floor, and I'm going to go ahead and call this what I'm going to want it to be. I'm going to want it to be our white paint color. Here we go. White paint. And I'm gonna pick these 3 walls, and then I'm gonna offset it 2 feet because this is just gonna be a 2-foot deep base cabinet. And then I'm gonna make it 3 feet tall. So it's just a base cabinet. This could be, you know, this could be a folding table. I'd make it a little bit deeper because 2 feet's a little too shallow for that. But you know, if we detail this more later, we might put a little bit more thought into this. This could have a sink in it. It could just be a folding table. We could do some cabinets up top or just some open shelving or something. But right now, I'm just showing that there's something in there. So on my floor plan, it should like, okay. Because with the way that I do basic plans, it's showing there's something there, and this is something that someone's going to work out on their own. So they're going to figure out a lot of the details on site or with someone else, or they're just going to, you know, wing it and figure something out. So I'm not going for a high level of detail. I'm showing something there. Okay, you figure it out. You can do whatever they want with it. So that pretty much takes care of our laundry room, and I moved that wall, which gave us some more space. It kind of messed something up over here. We're going to fix that. But I mean, that's just a nice, simple layout that works quite well. We probably could scoot some things around if we wanted more space in here, which we might do later. But right now, we're just going to move this over. And I'm going to, and that honestly could be a smaller door. I'm going to just shorten that up and that, and just leave that as a coat closet for now. And I kind of wonder, I think I want to flip that door the other way. It feels a little weird opening that way. Yeah, I like it. Now we are going to look at the kitchen, and we're actually, what time is it? 6:26. Oh yeah, we're rocking and rolling today. So we're gonna go ahead and load in some appliances. I don't always do this, but based upon what they had available for the washer and dryer, I kind of want to see what they've got. So let's go ahead and insert. Let's load some families. Okay, we had a dryer in here. So we're gonna need a fridge. What have you got for me? Let's try refrigerator. I promise I can spell, just not all the time. So yeah, this is better. All right, we've got. I am thinking that our best option is probably going to be this one. The only thing I'm not going to like about this is going to be standard depth, and I don't know. We'll see if we can change it. You're going to hear more about refrigerators than what you thought you wanted to hear. Let's go ahead and load in the rest of what we need. So don't really need a sink, but I kind of want to see what they have. Yeah, that's okay. We're just going to do some detail lines right now for that. So it'll be fine. We do need a range though. So let's see. Oh, we are going to need a dishwasher too. So let's go ahead and load that. And then, Well, oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes. So we got an electric. Okay, Autodesk, you've redeemed yourself just a little bit. I'm going to use this 30-inch gas range. Okay. So here's the thing. This is a super simple layout, and you can do this pretty much however you want. I have been thinking about how I want to do it, and I think I know how I want to do it. I think we're going to put the fridge right here, and I'm actually going to pull these lines off. Notice what is happening here. I had those dimensions. I'm going to go back so you can see again. So I had these dimensions on here, but they are to the detail lines. And then I went in and put in these blocks, as I call them. I put those in. So it's a little bit funny. Those dimensions are going to the detail lines, and that's why when I deleted the detail lines, because I usually start off with the detail lines and then add in the blocks and then develop detail from there, and then at some point I get rid of the detail lines because they're completely redundant at some point. I think we already got rid of those for that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just scoot that over. We're going to plunk our fridge in here. And this is so funny because it doesn't, yeah. Okay, this is a 36 and a 33-inch option. It's kind of weird. So let's put this, we'll butt it up against the wall, but it's not going to go butt it up against the wall. So let's pull it out an inch. Now, here's where we're going to talk about refrigerators. This is a standard depth fridge. This is a standard depth base cabinet. So this base cabinet is 2 feet deep. It would have an overhang. The standard overhang is 1.5 inches. So it could have an overhang of, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches for your countertop. But see how I left 3.5 feet of traffic space between my countertops. Well, base cabinets. It would be 3 inches less than that, but still okay. Well, here's what happens when I put in this standard depth fridge, which is, this looks pretty close. I mean, that's 2 and it's kind of difficult to tell. Actually, let's see. Let's just dimension it. That right there is 2 9 3/4, which it's about right for it won't let me go to there. That box is like 2.7. So here's the thing. I talk most of my clients into a counter depth refrigerator because it allows us more flexibility with our layout. Because if I change this to be a counter depth fridge, I can pretty much leave all of this stuff alone. Maybe I need to scoot this out a little bit, but I can't put this refrigerator right here like this. And have this island here. There's not enough room. I can't do 2.7 right there, and then the doors open. That's way too tight. There needs to be at least 3 feet right there. So you've probably been in an older house or something like that where this is actually the layout that they have. Well, if you're in an old house and that's what it is, and everything is a little bit wonky, and you got 24-inch wide doors, and you got something that just doesn't work, that's okay. Deal with it, make it work, whatever you got to do. However, when you're building a new home, you shouldn't be doing those things. You're doing a layout from scratch, and you have every opportunity in the world to make things function well and look good at the same time. So you need to do that. So if I were doing a standard depth fridge, and I just had this happen within the past few weeks. I have a client that they had a different house plan. They were going through a process of building, and then they had some major hiccups with stuff, and then came into building 313, you know, after like 9 months of just mega frustration. And this was kind of like, can you help us out? They'd reworked their floor plan because they could not get their existing one and nobody wanted to violate copyright. So from scratch floor plan, but they already had all of their appliances purchased. Like they were legit appliances are sitting in their living room. So we're going to work with whatever they've got. And their refrigerator was standard depth. And what we ended up doing was putting it in a run of cabinetry and just making a little notch in the wall. So it basically lets us treat it as counter depth, but it's standard depth. And so, you know, if we wanted to, we could actually do that over in here or something, but that's pretty far away. So, and actually, since we scooted this wall over, we can move this door. I don't know what extrusion it's talking about. Hold on. Something's being weird. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone because I don't know what it's doing. It's getting really angry about something. And I'm not sure. Let's see. What's in the way? Oh, I see. Oh, this is a good example of, well, that's messed up. That was 3-1 and I wanted to go to 2-3, so oh, it has the other one on the inside too. This is what happens when I did I just made these trim in place and now I go to move the door and it's not connected to the door really. That let everything move. I'm just going to leave that right there. That's fine. Because I can't do math all the time. So let's change this refrigerator if it will let us. And it says 33-inch, but that's just a narrower one. Nobody here has a 33-inch fridge. They're 36 inches, a standard fridge. So, but what we want to do, let's do this. We're going to do 36-inch and we're going to call it counter depth. Because a counter depth fridge, the box is 24, 25 inches. The doors on refrigerators are really thick. They're like 3 or 4 inches thick. So this is going by the overall depth. And so I'm going to say, we'll call it 2-4 for the depth. And that looks like it's pretty, you know, you can get really technical with this and you can make it exactly right. I'm just being fast. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space right here just because I don't want it to be super big, but I am going to make a cabinet. So what we're going to do, I'm going to come in here. Oh, because that box being black and that being stainless drives me absolutely insane. So we're going to make it go away. We're going to model in place. It's going to be casework. Doesn't have a name. We're going to make an extrusion. It's already on the first floor plan. And I'm just going to kind of pick some lines here because I'm going to adjust it. So basically, I want it to be 3 feet. No, I want it to be 3-4 wide. And I want it to be 26 inches deep. Now, why? Well, standard fridge opening is 36 inches. That's if you have it really, really tight because the fridge is going to be like 35 and 7/8 or something like that. So that's going to give you a really snug fit. I typically make my refrigerator cabinets, if it's just a refrigerator, 3 feet 4 inches wide because then I have 2 inches on either side of, I usually do inset doors. So that's what my opening typically is. And then I want that cabinet to be 2 inches deeper than my base cabinets because I make my countertops 1.5 inch of overhang, and that lets the countertop die into the cabinet. I don't like things to stick out. If there's something that sticks out like a roof or countertop, any kind of overhang, I want it to have something to die into. It's just cleaner and neater, and it's just a total pet peeve of mine. So we've got this cabinet. It's going to be taller than this, obviously. Let's make it 8 feet tall. Yeah, we'll roll with that. You can make it whatever you want. If you can make it 9 feet and it'll go all the way up, or whatever. Now, since I have that the size that I want it, I'm not going to drag its edges. I want it to actually be. Let's do this. Let's dimension this right here. Grab the side of that. So that's 3, 4, and then I've got this at some. This is weird. Let's do this. I'm going to make a line just so I'm going to move this. I'm not dragging that edge. I'm just moving it. And then this, I'm going to drag to that, and I'm going to lock it so that when I move this, it should. I hope I locked it to that and not that line. But let's go over here. We've got quite a bit of space. I'm going to go over 1 foot, and that leaves us 10 inches. You know, if you're going to put a little something there, or do a little, I don't know, little organization thing, or maybe make a little drop zone or something. Yeah, so that's stuck to that. Here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to put the dishwasher right here, and this actually, that looks like it was centered. I'm not necessarily sure that it was. So I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to move it back to the wall, but then I'm going to bring it up 1 inch because you wouldn't shove it right up against the wall. And these doors would typically be thicker. I'm not going to mess with that right now, but let's look at this. And I don't actually like the way that that is sticking out. So I'm just gonna, this is kind of wrong. I'm doing this for speed. It's just the way that the family is. I would normally adjust this. Okay. I just made that 1 inch shorter because I didn't, I have to cut out a hole. I don't want to cut out a hole. We're going to go ahead and cut out a hole just to be good. All right. So I'm going to edit this in place, and I'm going to create a void extrusion. I've got to set my plane. It's not going to be the first floor plan. We're going to click right on there. And then I'm clicking I pick lines, but I'm going to offset it by 2 inches. So I want 2 inches on the inside of that and 2 inches on the inside of that. And then I want nothing. And pick the bottom of it. And then usually a fridge opening is going to be like 70 inches. So, and that did not want to go. So I think, yeah, I've got one way down there. Sometimes it just doesn't want to go on the side you want to go on it, and I just let it click on the wrong side so that I can get to the right side and then delete it. Okay, there we go. Now, this is my void extrusion back in here, and I can just put that all the way back there. That way, where it had the drink dispenser, that actually shows. And let's see, we can actually probably just change that because that body being black drives me bonkers. And we just want it to match, to be the stainless steel. It's less jarring when you're looking at it, and there. That's perfect. And that's just simple, clean. It's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. So this, when we come in and detail this more, we're going to put some cabinet doors up here. Right now, we're just showing that, hey, there's a cabinet here. It's for the fridge. We're going to leave that. That's going to be fine. So then we're going to put in our dishwasher. I'm going to put my dishwasher right here next to this. I like the dishwasher to be to the right of the sink, but that's something I ask every client. Which side do you want it on? Because while I am predominantly left-handed, I like things to go left to right, and my entire family does too. I don't know if that's just because that's the way that we've always done it, or if they actually naturally gravitate towards that. But I do talk to a lot of people that are like that, whether they're left-handed or right-handed. Dirty dishes go on the left, they go through the sink, and then clean dishes go on the right side if you're hand washing, or get rinsed if needed or whatever, and loaded into the dishwasher. So, and part of the reason I'm doing this, there's not a whole lot of space on the left. So we're going to go to Architecture tab, Component. Now it's on Fridge, but we're going to go to the dishwasher. Standard dishwasher depth is, or width is 24 inches. So here's what I'm doing. This is probably actually 24 inches wide because it's just a simple, oh no, it is actually a little bit smaller. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an opening and it's going to be 24 inches. So okay. My opening is going to be 24 inches wide, but I want 2 inches of cabinet on either side. And this is, again, usually get to the detail, but right now I kind of need to do this just for the layout. So basically my dishwasher cabinet is going to be 2 feet 4 inches wide. And depending on how I handle my sink, that may or may not be connected. But basically this is going to let me center that right there because I want 2 inches of cabinet. And I want to find that center line, which is the orange, the triangle. I guess I think triangles are orange. And then this, we're going to plop this all the way back there. And then I'm going to pull it up an inch. And I'm going to get rid of those. Now, normally for these cutouts that I'm doing for appliances, see, that's just kind of jutted in there, and I am going to cut it out because it just looks weird. Normally for these cutouts, I would be doing this from an interior elevation view. I'm not messing with interior elevations in this, so because I'm not going to use them on the plans. So I want to edit this, and then we're going to do avoid extrusion. We're going to set the plane. It's not the first floor. You always have to check that work plane because it's usually going to be on whatever you used prior. And we need to, so you want to make sure it's going on the right thing. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and redo it. So I'm going to offset this by 2 inches. That way. And then I want it to not be offset anything, just right at the bottom. And then I'm going to offset 2 feet. Make sure you're grabbing the right thing. And see, it's flip-flopping back and forth. I'm going to go on this side. And then here's something to point out. If I were doing detailed, which I'm not yet, this countertop would only be 210.5. I've got it at 36 because I'm not doing countertops on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down 1.5 inches to allow for where that opening would actually be. Because normally it wouldn't be really an opening. It'd just be like there are no cabinets there. So we're going to do that. I'm going to just call it 2 feet because it's just going to let it go all the way to the back. And there we go. And same thing with this. It's got a black body. I'm going to edit it because I don't like it. I want it to be stainless steel. There we go. I'm going super fast today, so I guess you guys can slow it down if you need to. So there we've got this we've got a fridge, we've got this dishwasher, and then we're going to put a sink right here, except we're not actually going to put the sink in. We are going to just draw in some lines. And then we will add a sink later. So basically I'm going to come over here and I know that I want that cabinet for that dishwasher to be 2.4. So I'm going to come in here and this is about where my sink is going to be. And I'm going to offset it. So OF for offset. We're going to go up here and we're going to make this 30 inches, which is standard width just for standard sink. And then let's see. I'm going to come back a couple of inches and I'm going to start cleaning this up. Promise I can click on that line. And then I'm going to come back, let's see, try 1/8. No, yeah, that might work. The thing is, I really need to talk about this in standard sizes. We'll talk more about this later. I get rid of these lines here that I don't really need. So I have very few clients who still put in standard appliances, like all standard appliances. At the very least, they might put in a standard 30-inch range and maybe do a kind of a typical sink, and the dishwasher, all dishwashers are for the most part the same size. And then maybe they do a standard width refrigerator, but they do counter depth. But the thing is, it used to be really difficult, or very expensive, I should say, to do fancy appliances. Like if you wanted to get an all refrigerator. Now this is US speaking. If you're in Europe, this would be different. But you know, if you wanted to get like all stainless steel, like all fridge, all freezer, things like that, you had to get, I mean, you had to do Wolf and Sub-Zero, of these, you know, designer brands, Jen and Decor, and just higher end brands to get the fancy appliances. Well, what I've been seeing in more recent years, especially within the past 5 years, this is wonderful. A lot of consumer level brands are coming out with more options. So, for example, a couple of years ago, actually, no, it wasn't even a couple of years ago, it was last year, I had a client that they had picked out a very, very, very nice refrigerator. Layout wise, it was just a French door, you know, French door with a freezer on the bottom. But it was a really nice refrigerator. Probably would have lasted them forever and been a great refrigerator. It was really expensive. And I looked at that and I looked at the size of their kitchen. We were doing a really big kitchen with double islands, because everybody, they entertain a lot and they'll have a big crowd of people over there, and everybody gathers in the kitchen. So they wanted a nice spacious kitchen. And so they have this big kitchen and they have this just standard size refrigerator. And if I put that refrigerator in there, it would look really dinky. And so, you know, I asked them, is there any particular reason that you have this refrigerator? And I said, no, we're just, you know, looking around and we thought that looked like a good refrigerator. And I said, okay, let me show you something. And so I showed them the Frigidaire, all fridge, all freezer. They're 32 inches wide and they're just, you know, nice. Well, you can put them together with a trim kit. You can have them split, but you can join them together with a trim kit so they look like a nice big commercial set. And that's what they ended up doing. And if you look at any of my social media and look through, I'm trying to finish up the renderings. We're having an issue with my graphics card driver not updating. And so hopefully I'll get that fixed soon, and be able to update those. But that refrigerator, that huge fridge and freezer that looked super expensive, together, way cheaper than that fridge that they had originally picked out. So just because something looks big or looks fancy doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be more expensive. There are just a lot of options out there. And I have a local place that I send people to. I mean, if you're in my area, go to Metro Appliances and More. If you're going to the one in Little Rock, which is actually in Maumelle, tell them I sent you. And if he's still there, ask for Scott. So he'll get bombarded tomorrow, I'm sure of it. Anyway, I like for people to go and look at all the appliances and the options before they really nail those things down. And I actually do ask people to do that really before we get started, so they have a clue of what they want. Because the appliances, you know, since very few people of my clients anymore are doing just all standard appliances, these are things that really affect the layout of the kitchen. Because if you're going to do this huge refrigerator, if we lay out your space with this refrigerator and then you see this other one and you think, oh my gosh, I love that and that's a good price for what it is, if we didn't allow space in there, I mean, you just might not have enough space. And I'm not talking about like in your kitchen, like with your walls. And so that's why it's important to think about these things ahead of time. And like right now, we can move walls if we want to. You know, if somebody wants a bigger, fancier kitchen, we can just blow this wall out right over here and it'll be fine. But for right now, we're kind of keeping it simple. So we've got our refrigerator is just standard depth. We've got, or I'm sorry, it's standard width, but it is counter depth because it lets us keep a little bit better flow here. We've got a 24-inch dishwasher, just standard normal dishwasher. And then we've got a 30-inch sink. And I think I accidentally ended up with this window being almost in the right location for that. Almost. It's literally 1 inch off. So you know what? As much as I don't like uneven numbers, I can live because I do like centered things. But you know, if I did like a 36-inch sink here, which is really common, you know, go a little bit bigger, then I can move that window to accommodate the sink because we planned ahead. So definitely something to think about. Now, these are just detail lines. So remember, if I go, not there, if I go here, there's nothing there. So I could change those to model lines. And actually, let's do that. So I did LI for model line. I'm going to pick, and I want to pick these, and I'm not sure if that's actually going to be, yeah, let's go here because I think it put those on. We've got to, let's go back. That went back one too far. My throat gets super dry from talking so much, y'all. Where were we? Okay, these are detail lines, and we can actually convert these, but I'm not sure like what plane they're on. Oh, they're on the first floor, but I'm wondering if it'll let me edit work plane. Here we go. So I'm gonna pick a plane, and I want it to be the top of that. So magic, boom, there are lines. They're now model lines, and they are on this. So that's just going to show in these views like, oh, hey, oh, that's where the sink goes. I get it. And so we've got a window right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and then I'm going to try to do one more thing, kind of finish this basic kitchen layout, and then I'm going to let you go. So we've got a lot of function going on right here, and I want to put the range over here, but I won't put a range in front of a window. So I did think about splitting this, and you know, you could do this if you wanted to. Put a narrower window over here and over here, and I've done this a lot. Absolutely love it. And do a range hood here, but I'm actually just going to get rid of this window. We've got one window over here. We've got windows over here. It's going to be fine. So we're going to do kind of the same thing we've been doing. We're going to go over here. We're going to grab that range that we loaded in, and we're going to put it over here. And as far as where you put it, you know, you can put it wherever you want to. This is, that's 8 feet there. For a range or a cooktop, you have to have at least 18 inches of space on either side. I find 18 inches is too small. I like there to be at least 2 feet, but more is better to me. I guess I'm always just cooking a lot, and I'm if Matt watches this, he's gonna think I'm a very inefficient cook, and I guess I am. But we have not all been to culinary school, so some of us just have to wing it. Okay. Pretty sure he's not gonna watch this, nor does he care. So, I think if I just center it on that, I mean, this is 8 feet, that's a decent amount. I kind of like how this comes here because I wanted to have plenty of dining space here. This isn't just a huge home, but this main living area is just really wide open, which gives a lot of flexibility, and I like that. So I think leaving that like that's gonna work okay. I'm gonna push that back, and I'm gonna look at this because I think I actually do want this pushed all the way back. I do, because it's got this lip back here. And what we're gonna do then is just break these cabinets up. So we'll go right here, and we're gonna click on it. We're gonna edit extrusion, and we're gonna pick these lines because I want to see right here if I pick those. Let's grab this and measure this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So actually I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna get rid of those lines, and I'm going to find the center line of this. I'm gonna offset it we want 30 inches for our opening, so we're going to go 15 inches. Okay, we're going to get rid of this center line, and we're going to split. The split tool, SL keyboard shortcut. And then we're going to trim these around here. And you have to do this a different way if you're in LT and you can't do that. But we clicked out of there, and so that cleaned that up quite nicely. This is, I mean, this is not a super fancy kitchen, but that is actually an efficient little layout. Everything is pretty decently close. So, we need to do one other thing with this, and that is, let's see if they have this. There's this great range hood that I use, and I don't know if they're going to have it in here. Oh, no. They have crappy ones. Come on. That's round? Let's see what it does for do hood. Oh, here we go. It's so funny how it does different names. This one will work. So, now this is the island one. If we were putting anything over here, we're not. But this one will do the trick. It's similar to the one that I used. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this view. We're going to go here to our components, and that is 36 inch and exactly sure. Oh, see, I don't know where that went. Sorry, y'all. I will wrap this up before too long because my voice is about done with me. Let's just go ahead and grab that and move it in here. Oh, I'm getting all froggy and croaky. I don't know. Well, now it's like under the house. Okay. Let's try that. And go look up here. There we go. Okay, so now that's actually on the floor level. So let's put this at, I'm going to put it at 5'6". There actually are requirements for height and like overhang and stuff like that. And this actually, that chimney looks a little, I believe the requirements are that the width of your hood should be I think 3 to 6 inches wider than your cooking surface. So that's just something to be mindful of if you're putting in, 36-inch range or 48-inch range or something like that. Look up what those requirements are and then make sure that your range hood is sized appropriately. See if this gives us flexibility. Housing depth, chase width. Let's try this and see. Yeah, it's okay. I think I liked it better the other way, so I'm just going to put it back. Okay. Now, this looks weird right here, but we don't have our ceiling in here. So if we look at with ceilings, you'll see that went right up there. And I bet if I made this 5'3", it would go right up there. So we'll leave it at that. That's probably going right at standard. Well, no, it's not. I'm going back. This is a really, doesn't give me a height. So I kind of wonder if that, oh, okay. So I think that, no, that pushed it down. It needs a parameter for that. Chase height, but it doesn't. Was that in there and I just like looked right past it? Huh. It's not in there. Super weird. So you know what? We'll just leave it alone. The reason why I'm obsessing over that is because this sticking up right here, see if we can join them. No, we cannot. So what that does is, see, that does not have a clean join, and I can't join it. So if I go look in here, this has that. It's not connected, and you can tell that. So that would be something that I would fix, or I will want to fix, and we might do that next time. But right now we've got this nice little kitchen going on, and I debated whether we would want to put open shelving. I think I would just do open shelving here, or upper cabinets. Honestly, this house would probably have upper cabinets, and I think I would probably scoot that down, but I don't feel like that did much of anything. So I think this is going to be a good stopping point for today. Everything's looking quite nice. We might just look at, I mean, you can mess around with these window layouts if you want. I'm kind of thinking about putting 3 windows over here for my dining area and none over here so that I can do a TV over here. So we could actually do that, and this one could go right over here. So see, that's too close. And then let's put these, like, I want them kind of close together, but not super close together. That's probably, let's see what that looks like from in here. Honestly, I think that's too many windows and it looks stupid. So let's get rid of that one. And let's, oh, heard a bump. Hear me. Y'all, this is totally off topic, but I just made me think of it. My video, if you haven't watched it yet, my actual only real video that's up, the Moon House episode 1 tour, there's a spot in there where the camera jerks and I go, whoo! That was because I was in the house by myself, and it's 90 years old, and there was something like made a bump. It sounded like something fell over or something, except that it sounded like it came from in the room that I was in, and there was literally nothing in that room, and no one else in there, and no one else in the house, and nobody. And so I was, yeah, I did a little jump. I'm not usually a scaredy cat like that, but not in old houses, because houses don't bother me. Ghosts do. Old houses don't. So I guess I just typically feel friendly. I'm going to get rid of that. Just found that little thing to clean up. So we've got just the 2 windows over here, and I'm actually going to just do the same spacing right here. So that'll be just for a nice little, I'll probably just put like a circle dining table in there or something like that. And this allows a huge amount of space right here for living space. I love that. So we got a bunch of stuff done today, and next week, let's see. Next week we will pick up with working on our construction documents. I think I don't know. I'm going to think about what we want to do for the kitchen. We might actually look at a couple of different options for uppers. Because I kind of, yeah, we might just put some uppers in there. I don't know. That's looking pretty good, y'all. If you've been following along and you've been doing this, then you should have a house that's looking really good, and you should be proud of that. We might just get a little bit more detail going on in there, but we don't really need much. We don't have that's one thing that I normally would have in here by now would be beds. So let me just see what they've got in the way of this. I have some beds that I have created, or sometimes I will if I'm doing actual renderings, I'm using, this is really funny. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I've used this one a bunch. We'll put this one in here. So let's load that bed, or you can use whichever one you want. And then we're gonna go here. The reason why this is important, and I'm gonna put let's go ahead and see how the king fits. Yeah, I will usually put the largest bed that and I'm gonna just draw some dimension lines so I can find the midpoint. I will usually put the largest bed that I think would possibly be used in a space. You know, kids' rooms, guest rooms. I will pretty much always put a queen size bed in there, and master bedrooms always get a king size, whether they have a king size or not. That way, I'm not sure if that actually clicked that. That way we know that they're gonna fit. I feel like that one's a little, and I will do this often. I'll butt something up against a wall, and then I kind of have my certain offsets. So, you know, that's a king size bed. This just really shows, you know, if you do a queen, what this does is it lets you check to make sure that your furniture is going to fit, for one, but it also lets you check layout. For example, if you're, you know, in a bedroom, you're going to put a bed in there, well, you're going to have nightstands or a nightstand and maybe a dresser or something like that. You want to make sure that stuff fits in there, and you want to make sure you got a traffic flow. So, you know, I might not would put a king size bed in here because it's a little bit tight. Actually, I mean, some people are gonna look at this and be like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much space." Yeah, there's almost 3 feet on either side, so you could put a pretty respectable nightstand there and there. But you got to think about some other things, and I'll kind of leave this up to you guys. You might want to go rogue a little bit on this. You know, if I put this bed here and I want to watch TV in bed, well, that's not a good place to put it, and that's not right there. So maybe I want to put this bed on this wall instead, and spread those windows out, or maybe just do some little windows up top, or maybe don't put any windows back there and put some windows over here so that I can put a piece of furniture here or mount a TV on the wall or something like that. That creates another issue, like, okay, I can put a nightstand here, but I can't put a nightstand here. This door is going to crash into it. Well, if I scoot the door over a little bit or make it smaller or something, it's going to be hard to get into that closet. So these are things that you think about, and this is why it's important to do this. For now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here, and I don't want to put it on this wall because it's a hatchet door. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with a hatchet door, go look up the Life of an Architect blog. Bob Borson started this, oh my gosh, more than 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, 10, 11, something like that. And he has a post. Now it's a podcast. There's still a blog, but it's kind of taken from the podcast. He does it with Andrew Hawkins, and they're both great. They're both licensed architects, and they've been doing it for a long time. They're funny as all get out. So I listened to their podcast a little bit, but there's this old post from a long time ago on when it was just Bob on his blog about Hatchet Bedrooms. And so instead of me explaining about Hatchet Bedrooms, I'll just let you go look that up and read it because he says it better than I can. So I can't put it on this wall because that's a hatchet bedroom, and that doesn't solve our TV issues anyway. So it could if we spread this out, but that window gets outside of there, and then there's a drainage issue. So you see, it's all a can of worms. It's all a big maze. It's all dominoes. And what I tell my clients is it's all like a big puzzle, and we have to have all the pieces to fit together just right. You know, you sometimes you want to fix one thing and then it causes a problem somewhere else, and it's this domino effect. It's a huge puzzle. We want everything to fit together. So right now we're just going to say that these people are not allowed to watch TV in bed. So I'm just going to leave it at that, or maybe they're going to have to lay on their side. And I honestly think that king size bed is a little too big for that. but it gives us kind of some flexibility. We can show, since these bedrooms are basically the same size, that lets us see, okay, well, a king size, honestly, the king should probably go up here, now that I think about it, because this bedroom, oh, never mind, they are the same size, because that is a 2x6 wall. I got it, y'all. I need to go eat dinner. So we're going to leave that in like that. We have done we had our bathroom in. We've got something going on in our laundry room. Oh, the color of those beds is terrible. I'm going to leave it for next week. We'll fix it next week. And, if you plan on joining me next week, we're going to do the same time. I might try a different time soon, but I think this is working pretty decently, so we'll roll with it. I'm going to make a list of a few things that I want us to clean up next week, and then we're going to work on laying out the construction documents. And I don't think we can like totally finish this next week, maybe. But hopefully within another couple of weeks, we should have this all wrapped up, and then we'll either hit it back and with the details, or we might take a little break for a little while. But we're gonna have an actual set of construction documents that you could build from. So we'll add that to our cleanup for next week. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff in the meantime, comment on it, even if you're watching this on the replay, and then I will, I'll answer you back. But if you have questions for next time that you want answered live, then plan on being here, same time, same place, 5:30 Central Standard Time next Wednesday, when we will pick up where we left off, and we're going to be really finishing some things up so we can get those construction documents done. So if you enjoyed this or found this helpful, hit the like button. Please subscribe, help my little baby channel grow, and share and tell your friends. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the next videos, because we're going to have a lot of videos coming up soon, and it's really exciting. I'm glad to share this stuff with you. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time. Bye.